Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of MTG Steam Brewery. As you'll notice, we're playing some interesting cards today with this close-up of Trading Post. We're playing a red-black Trading Post deck in our Versus video this week. And we're playing against American Control. This is the main deck configuration that I've built for the first iteration of this deck. I kind of built this because I used to play a deck called the Black Market, which was Trading Post and Underworld Connections. And then we had value cards like Spine of his Shaw, Mindslaver, stuff like that. When a couple years back, when those were standard, some really powerful artifacts that could win games. So that's why those were in here. And the deck's kind of been gone since then, but I've always been a big fan of Trading Post, so I've kind of put it back together just to have some fun in standard. So that's why I've made this deck for this week. And we're going to get right into the deck tech. We have 2 Liliana of the Dark Realm. We do have a few proxies in here. This is one of them, as we were not able to get them in time, though we thought we would. So we have 2 Liliana Dark Realms. Kind of one of the ways we can win is by ultimating this with Rakdos Return. It will happen probably more against the non-control decks, but against control decks, just being able to get lands out of our deck is good. And then her -3 kind of acts as extra removal. It can kill gods, which can be sometimes a big deal, because we can't otherwise kill them outside of stripping it from their opponent's hand. So that's why that's in here. We have 2 Stormbreath Dragon. Really just a solid card against the non-mono black decks in standard. A 4/4 Flying Haste Pro White will dodge a lot of removal. Being able to Monstrous is a really big deal because we'd normally be able to kill everything that can block it. So Monstrosing and making a 7/7 is really going to win games. Then we have Fate Unraveler, one of the cards from the new set. It's a 3/4 whenever an opponent draws a card. It deals 1 damage. It's an Underworld Dreams on a body now. And since our deck is built to go really long, this can kill our opponents, because just them taking 1 a turn can end a game, because we're not really the fastest deck in the world. We're a control deck. So this can end games against opponents. If we get this on board before they can Sphinx's Revelation, and if they don't kill it before they Revelation, it just becomes a blue Sun Zenith for them. So it does take away the value of it, even though Sphinx's Revelation is still really good, it just loses that value. And we have 2 Lifebane Zombies. Really good. It's a 3/1 Intimidate, so it's going to not a lot of things in standard are able to block it outside of things in the mono black deck. And we're still able to kill most things that can block it. Being able to look at a control opponent's hand is a big deal, knowing what to play around, how many counter spells they have, how many Tension Spheres, stuff like that. And then against green-red monsters, hopefully strip an Xangos or Arbor Colossus, something really big and beefy that we don't want them to be having. So that's why that's in there. We have 4 Underworld Connections. One of the best cards for this deck, since we do play Trading Post, being able to gain 4 life every turn, draw extra cards. It kind of allows us to fuel our Underworld Connections even against the aggro decks. Against control decks, you always just want this, and in mid-range, it's going to grind out the card advantage you need to win. So that's why that's in there. We have 2 Rakdos Return as one of our win conditions. Especially on this deck's just going to go long, and if you continue to just hit your land drops, and you're going to be able to fire off Rakdos Return for a very large amount and kill them, or get them close enough that you can kill them with the creatures we have, because most of our creatures have evasion. We have 2 Anger of the Gods for the aggro matchup, just being able to kill everything early. It's really good against green-red Devotion, really early if we're on the play. That's why that's in there. Then we come to our hard removal. We have 4 Dreadbore, just one of the best removal spells in standard. 4 Thoughtseize, also one of the best removal spells in standard, being able to strip anything from our opponent's hand. Detention Sphere, Supreme Verdict, Threats, just stuff like that. We have 4 Heroes Downfall, another one of the best removal spells. 1 Ultimate Price, just another 2-drop removal, because we wanted a little bit more to slightly improve our aggro matchup, which I feel is always really weak when I play control deck, so I just kind of like to have slight edges. So that's why I look impressed. We have 3 Trading Posts, one of the key cards of the deck. As you can read all the abilities, almost all of them are relevant. The Goats is just kind of cute, but sometimes it becomes really relevant when we're like sacking any of our artifacts we have in our deck. Like these are the Pithing Needle that I'm about to show you, to draw cards. Then we have another one condition. We have Hollow Plate Mail. It's kind of like Mutavault in the fact that it's really hard to interact with its sorcery speed. Plus, we can equip it to like Goats or Mutavaults to start attacking for even more damage. Of course, if we have Mutavault, we're probably going to be like, animate this, then animate Mutavault and attack for 6 against control decks if we know the coast is clear, if we think it is. Then we have 2 Prophetic Prism, just kind of 2 mana, draw a card, and with Trading Post, you can start cycling them even more to draw even more cards, which is always a big deal. It can fix mana, which sometimes you do need your mana fixed, even though we're playing 12 duels. Just sometimes it happens. And we have 1 Pithing Needle. It is good against almost every deck in standard. The mono red it's not really good against, but can still hit things. And the worst case scenario for this card is we just sack it to Pithing Needle, draw a card, so it's never really dead in our deck. And we have 1 Elixir, because like I said, this deck can go really long. Sometimes your Rakdos turn, both of your Rakdos turns or all your threats get countered, so you need a way to shuffle them back in. Or against aggro, just gaining 5 life once or twice can kind of put you out of range, or get you to trading posts and get you out of range. And of course, we get to our land base. We have 4 Mutavaults. We're just a straight 2-color deck, so we can afford to play 4. Our mana's not too stretched with this, and we needed these for the control matchups, so that's why they're in there. We have 4 Rakdos Gate, 4 Temple of Triumph, 4 Blood Crypt, and then we have our 8 Swamps. So that's our main deck, and I'll see you in a minute for our sideboard. Hello and welcome back to our sideboard. Kind of really straightforward. We have 4 Slaughter Games for the control matchups, being able to name first our win conditions, and if we draw enough we can name counterspells, so we can just resolve all our threats we have. We have 2 Anger the Gods for the aggro matchup, and we have 2 Duress for the control matchup and the mono black matchup. 1 Doomblade just for the creature matchups, being able to kill things at 2 mana is really necessary. We have 3 Bioblights, these are good for the creature matchups, and then the mono black matchups, we want to be able to kill Pack Rat in any number early on, and Bioblight's really good at doing that and made Pack Rat really bad if people start main decking this, which mono black does, and we're not really mono black, so we just wanted Dreadbores and Ultimate Prize as our true drop, and then sideboard these. Then we have 2 Rakdos Charm against the blue-white Elixir deck that Huey Jensen is known for playing. Being able to exile their graveyard can be a big thing. It's also good against the, like if our opponent plays Assemble Legion and we haven't managed to Slaughter Games or Thoughtseize it, just being able to kill them with their own tokens is really good. Being able to like shoot Planeswalkers with like their Elspeth tokens, being able to shoot them down with their own Elspeth tokens is really good. And then sometimes exiling all graveyards or destroying artifacts comes in. Not often, but it might. So being straight red-black, we just wanted to have a few more versatile sideboard cards, so that's why that's in there. And then we have 1 more Pithing Needle, naming Planeswalkers, Aetherlings, Pack Rats, Mutavault, stuff like that. And that's kind of our deck, and an interaction that is very important with Pithing Needle and Underworld connections in our deck is we can always Underworld connection one of our dual lands, and then Pithing Needle Swamp in our main deck against Mono Black, so they can't use their Underworld connections if they enchant Swamp. That's always an option, or just Pithing Needle whatever land they put their Underworld connections on, so they can't really grind out that card advantage that they have. That's why those are in that's a neat little interaction. So I hope you enjoyed our red-black trading post deck, kind of a fun deck that we wanted to show you guys, and please be sure to subscribe. Bye!